Welcome back. Lots of news coming through this afternoon. And this is something that our colleague Ashmit is just picking up. It's important for telecom companies, and this could be a possible setback for telecom players, Vodafone Idea, as well as Bharti Airtel. Sources are indicating to us that an AGR waiver, that's adjusted gross revenue waiver, may not be on the cards anymore. Let's go over to Ashmit. Ashmit, what are you picking up?
Well, this could come as a big setback as far as Airtel and Vodafone Idea are concerned. Bear in mind that there was a proposal that had been floated by the Department of Telecom, the DOT. As per that proposal, what the government had been seeking, what the DOT had been seeking, was a 50% waiver as far as the interest component is concerned, and a 100% waiver of the penalty as well as the interest on penalty component. Now, this is something that was under consideration, that was also, in fact, shared with the Finance Ministry. It went up all the way to the Cabinet Secretariat. However, what highly placed sources within the government tell us is that this is no longer in consideration. This will not be proceeded with. This will not go forward. This, in fact, has been communicated by the Cabinet Secretariat to the Department of Telecom, and we're learning from highly placed officials that that is the status quo now. It will not be proceeded with. This, mind you, was the last leg of relief that had been sought by the telecom companies that had been impacted by the AGR judgment. Bear in mind that on repeated occasions, despite concerns having been raised before the highest court of the country, that there could be arithmetic errors, there could be computational errors, the Supreme Court has not seen it fit to alter that demand, that original demand that went against these telecom companies in any shape or form, no alteration coming in. The last leg of relief that was hoped is that the government, keeping in mind the stress that this brought about in the sector, could consider some relief. However, the decision, we understand, has been taken internally within the government, communicated from the Cabinet Secretariat to the Department of Telecom, that no further consideration is required, will be taken forward as far as the AGR relief is concerned. So setback coming in for telecom companies, particularly Airtel as well as Vodafone Idea, who stand to get impacted with this decision. Back to you.
And Indus Tower as well, it's an important story in that sense, because the general expectation was, expectations with regards to relief on this had been delayed and hopes had dimmed quite a bit. But those who still tracking this were, the general feeling was that eventually the government will come around and they will do something to lower the burden of this AGR. And it may happen, and lots of speculation, although that had also dimmed with the sort of market correction taking over. But I think this is now going to bring into sharp focus. I think the only good thing is stocks have already corrected quite a bit. Indus, etc., are completely bombed out from where they were when this chatter was at its peak. Look at Voda, look at Indus. Maybe Bharti, of course, is an exception, but definitely for those who were hoping for some relief after the court said no, hoping for relief from the government, I think this is important in that sense coming through.
These companies, Bharti and Voda, I think they'd sort of tried a last attempt by filing another review petition in the Supreme Court. And I think in February, the Supreme Court had basically completely dismissed all those petitions, saying there's no case for any miscalculation in the total of that AGR dues. So the court had anyway struck it down, and now it seems from what Ashmit is picking up, the government is not also willing to relent on this. So the sums are large. I think it was almost, if I remember correctly, 40,000 crores for Bharti Airtel, far more for Voda as well. Now, if there's no relief on at least even a part of the interest or penalty, like what Ashmit is reporting, these are big sums we're talking of.
Yeah, and I think the reason why markets were expecting that the government will step in with some relief is because the government put in money in Vodafone Idea.
They're shareholders in Vodafone Idea.
That is primarily the reason. And of course, the last round which happened, a lot of sort of large institutional investors had put in money as well, right? So that is the reason primarily why the sense was that maybe the government will step in with something, a helping hand of sorts. But apparently no. Ashmit, thank you very much for that.